What is up, everybody? Keith, aka Your Guy 231. It is Wednesday, January 20th, and we're here to break down two-game EPL slate. Was supposed to be 3 games, but we got the all too familiar postponement notification yesterday for Leeds and Southampton, making it a 2-gamer. Making it, what Manchester side are you going to get right or play will decide, your fate today. And I think even to a more micro level, it's what forwards are you going to play today that's going to decide your fate. I'm going to break that down here shortly. Just a quick reminder, first time watching the show or watching anything on an FSI, you have found an awesome place for free content across the DFS industry. Right now, later today, there'll be NBA, NHL, PGA is already up, we got soccer, just pretty much any sport out there. We've got you covered. Bottom right of the screen, please hit that subscribe button. It's the best way that you can repay us for all of the content. Also, like, comment, all that stuff really, really does help continue to help us grow. All right, let's jump into the slate. And as always, let's start with the odds. So we have the first game. Is Manchester City hosting Villa. We have not seen Villa in a while. It is actually January 1st since their last game. They've had the COVID outbreak. We saw their, I joked it was like their under 13s, but their youth side versus Liverpool in the FA Cup held their own for a while, sign of, how much Liverpool is struggling. But they are Manchester City is a minus 359 favorite. Villa plus 93, 3.25 total. And the second game is Fulham hosting Manchester United. Manchester United is a solid favorite, top of the league. Manchester United minus 167, Fulham plus 481, 2.75 total. So right away, I'll just say this, and let me, before we go into players, let me just kind of give my overview of the games. So let me actually drink coffee real quick. So I am much more interested in the Manchester City side than Manchester United. This probably is obvious, but in case it isn't, here's the reason why. Villa has not played in a while. Who knows, how this Villa team will look. Like, think about the start of the season, right? You have teams that are very disjointed. A 20-day break with quarantines, with all these, they're not really training together. I think could really, really hurt a Villa side that was rolling. Meanwhile, in that time, Manchester City now is, you could argue they're the hottest team in all of England, if not all of Europe. Just look, everything looks back on track. They have the best defense, probably in Europe right now. I know Atletico will argue, but City's not allowing goals. Their offense is clicking, and they just look like the unstoppable force. Look like they're going to win the league. Versus a team, that is completely off pace, just off on everything. So I think right away, I want City over United. That said, as I have over here, just because I like City more doesn't mean I'm going to play Bruno Fernandes. Bruno, we've just seen over and over again, is matchup proof. Doesn't matter, that he's losing corners to Shaw or Telles. Doesn't seem to matter. He's so close to lock for double digits. I feel like on this slate, everything is at a little bit of a discount. Just look at somebody like Bernardo Silva. Yeah, Bernardo Silva, from a floor perspective and a projection perspective, sucks, right? But you normally have to overpay to 64, 6,500 to get a City forward piece. You don't get a potential City forward starter for 4,700. Mason Greenwood, normally he'd be 55 or 6,000. So everything's, under to an extent here. So I think it's going to be easier to get pieces that you like. And for me, especially with the pricing, there's zero reason in almost any format outside of just, I'm playing the, it's probably going to be 15. I haven't looked. The main $15 GPP. I want to be different because I want to shoot for the top. And you probably, at that point, these guys are going to be both highly, highly owned, and you look for a pivot. That's the only reason, in my opinion, that you'd fake KDB or Bruno. never in head-to-head, never in cash, never in, an optimal single entry build where, you're running what you think is the best lineup. These are the first two in. All right. So with that in mind, we don't have one other midfielder to discuss, but let's jump to forward and go from there. So let's just say this. Let's just start with City, I guess. City front line, probably some version of Mahrez, Sterling, Jesus, Torres, Phil Foden, or Bernardo Silva. Man City roulette. This is the first game. We don't, for this, we have to kind of decide who's going to play. But for DFS, we're going to know. So this was very good timing for us DFS players that we get the City forwards first. I think that you at least play one, if not two. Sterling obviously is fine. Had the great free kick last game. Maybe that will help get his confidence up. He's the most expensive forward. I think if he and Mahrez is in, I still probably let's put it this way. Mahrez without Foden, I would play Sterling because Mahrez will take some corners. I'm sorry. Mahrez without Foden, I would take Mahrez because he has more open play value. He's going to cross a little bit more, and he would have some corners. If Foden is in, we saw Mahrez get no corners. And at that point, you probably wouldn't see Sterling because that would be Foden's spot. But Mahrez, takes a big step down for me. So, again, watch Foden to decide on Mahrez. But if not, 7,400, my partner Tendril Storm messaged me. He goes, does it just feel like me or 3 months ago, if we got Mahrez at 7,400, would we just be jumping for joy? And, now we're just kind of okay. Because he's just been out of form. Jesus, 6,300, I think will be pretty popular. That's really cheap for a center forward for City. He's in a scoring drought, but, still gets key passes, still gets a few foul drawn, a few shots. So, again, 6,300 is normally where we paid for Bernardo Silva, who, you were never paying for a floor, right? You're paying for the upside on City. So 6,300, I think that's pretty fair. In between those are the United guys. Look, El Ghazi's in great form, but you're not playing El Ghazi versus City. Rashford, Martial, Cavani. I can't fault you for any of them. I just choose the City guys at relatively same prices, and then those would be pivots. We go down. Lookman is fine. Cavallero. So I'll be going over defender Joe Bryan quickly to start, who I think is a phenomenal play today. He is going to hurt Cavallero. I think that he will split sets with Cavallero. 5,600 is fine, but I just wonder if we do get Bernardo Silva to get a little extra floor on Cavallero, are we giving up a lot of upside on a Silva? Yeah, I'm not saying Silva's by any means a lock for anything, but we're 2 weeks removed from him in the FA Cup with a strong lineup scoring 2 goals. So it's just more so getting City exposure and an extra spin on the City roulette wheel. That makes me think about that. So Cavallero, Lookman, fine. You get a Greenwood start at 4,500, that's fine, but you won't know that for the second game. Yeah, I think that's about it for forward. Forward's going to decide it's late. I don't love any plays to forward. I think I'm likely going to just kind of fill most of the spots in the rest of my lineup and decide from there. All right, midfield. Jack Grealish, obviously, one of the best forwards in the EPL. Not playing him for City. I'd much rather play Phil Foden, 7,800. We saw Foden come on 2 games ago, take all of the old Mahrez corners, and that was with Mahrez on, so we had to go with that information and say that Foden is likely splitting corners with KDB. Just because Foden is on does not mean that KDB is fadeable. KDB is KDB. You plug KDB in and you accept, your 15 points with upside. Gundogan 6,500 for the slate being, as softly prices it. He jumps out as somebody that's a little too expensive. Before the goal, he had 1 or 2 DK, so no good. I skipped over this on forward, but I'd really love to see Ferran Torres. I'd really love to see Ferran Torres off the left, Jesus in the middle, Sterling or Mahrez on the right, KDB in the hole. That would be the lineup I'd love to see because then I get a forward spot filled. I like Ferran Torres. I think he's a really good player. Paul Pogba at 6K, I think it's a little much. If I land them, I'm fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with that play. I'm fine with Paul Pogba at 6,000. But he doesn't have like an elite like crossing floor or anything. Just kind of gets there. So I think without a goal, you expect like 6,000. Like that's a fair price. Just a fair price on a day that everybody else is underpriced is probably something I'm not like running to. We mentioned Cavalera. I think that midfield, honestly, are like you might play a third defender in utility today. I think defender's pretty good. Not much is popping out here in the midfield. Maybe that could change. Maybe you get like a Donny van der Beek. I don't know. Are we sure Donny van der Beek's that good, or are we just thinking of like Ajax Donny van der Beek that we used to love in UCL, and that's not the same guy? So nothing else like jumps out at midfield. Let's go to the defender where I think a lot jumps out. Alex Telles or Luke Shaw at left back. They split sets. Both been really good, really close to like coming into the games with like an 8 to 9 DK floor. So that left back position for United has been really, really nice. João Cancelo is like really interesting. He's playing a lot more like midfield, but he's still getting there. I actually haven't pulled the log, so let's do it right now. So last game, only played 19 minutes, but before then, 12, 7.8, 9.3, 11.5, 9.3. Even when he's in the midfield here, he still gets to the byline. He works with a lot of movement. Whoever's that right wing, like he'll try to get behind the left back and then get in a good crossing position. So 5,200 is a really good price on Cancelo. Again, would I want to pay 6,500 for Gundogan, or would I want to play $1,300 discount for Cancelo? Playing Cancelo anytime. Kyle Walker, whatever. It should be Cancelo. Kyle Walker started last game. Tete, 4,500 is fine. I'd much rather Joe Bryan. It's like one of my favorite plays on the slate. Probably a core play for me. Likely should be taking sets. Anthony Robinson got the red card last game, suspended for 2 or 3 matches. So should be Joe Bryan time. Peak Joe Bryan, we've seen that 6,000, 6,500. I'm not worried about the matchup. I think Fulham. Actually, I just realized I didn't talk about the Fulham City match. Jeez. That's what I get for taping for 7 a.m. Yeah, so Manchester United should, is favored. But, we've seen Manchester United over and over again. They're not a team like fear DFS-wise. They have no problem giving up possession. They're very comfortable playing deep. They're very comfortable accepting possession and playing on the counter. Fulham's been half decent in 2021. Like they, just gave Chelsea a game down a man for like 60 or 70 minutes. Gave Liverpool a game. I think they drew Liverpool, right? It's like Fulham's decent. It's Joe Bryan, 4,200, wing back, potential sets. Like there's no reason to steer away from that. I think Fulham will hold their own. I still think United probably win, but I think Fulham will make it a game. We'll get chances and will be productive for DFS purposes. So Joe Bryan versus Aaron Wan-Bissaka's not even close. Joe Bryan all day. Zinchenko's been playing a little left back, been pretty good for a left back for City, but he just hasn't been crossing or anything. So 4,100 though, he's been tackling. It's fine. It's City exposure. Oh, the thing about City, like the reason we always talk about City exposure is it just takes one pass for them to be, leading to a shot that goes in, and it's not like the world's greatest assist, but it's assist nonetheless. So, getting an extra City piece when you're between like a City piece or a Villa piece, you're going to choose City piece. John Stones, the remarkable John Stones off a brace. DK finally fixed the pricing a little bit on them. He and Ruben Diaz have just been too cheap over and over again. I think at 39 and 3,700, compared to where like good fullbacks are, we're finally done with them. But couldn't play crazy if you did it. That's probably the end of our fullbacks. Yeah, so I mean, you got some good fullbacks. Cancelo, City guy, Bryan, Wan-Bissaka's fine. Zinchenko, yeah, I mean, those are some good options. Goalie, obviously you can pay all the way up at Ederson. It's fine. You can fit it, go for it. I think my favorite keeper is Areola. I just told you that I think Fulham could give United a game. So Areola's been awesome. It's at home. I think Craven Cottage is letting people in. Maybe not. I would hope that they're not letting people in anymore, considering all the England craziness. But 4,000, I'd much rather pick him than Emi Martinez. But if you have the salary and you want to go up, go for it. It's cool. It's the most important. Trying to think of what Jordan Cooper says. Most important position on the slate, and you have no chance of getting it right. So pay down, take the salary if it needs to be. Take the salary, use it on a player that you feel better about. If you just have the salary left over, go up to Ederson. I mean, goalie to me is that easy. All right, that'll do it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope that you enjoyed this. Helps you build, and I will see you. I can't remember if there's a game tomorrow, but next EPL slate, I'll make sure and try to wake up early enough and get another one out. So once again, Keith, aka Guy 231. Good luck in your contest today. See ya.